Good evening and welcome to the July 2nd, 2024 Joint Brookings County and City of Brookings Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded, televised, and viewable on Swiftel Channel 19, ITC Channel 168, or the Brookings County YouTube channel. I now call this meeting to order on the county side. Is there motion for approval of minutes on the county side?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich.
Second.
Second by Vanderwall. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll now call this meeting to order on the city side. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
Second, Spear.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Items to be added to the agenda by commission members or staff. None. Invitations for citizens to schedule a time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Nothing. Disclosure of conflicts of interest or relationships to applicants or ex parte communication. Nothing on either side. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall.
Second.
Second by Diedrich. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion for approval on the city side?
So moved.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed?
We will now convene as the Joint County and City of Brookings Planning Commission. The Planning Commission of the Brookings County and City of Brookings consists of both Brookings County Planning Commission and City of Brookings Planning Commission members. The concurring vote of a simple majority of those Joint Planning Commission board members present and voting is required to forward a recommendation to the Brookings County Commission and the Brookings City Council for final decision of the rezoning request. Moving on, agenda item 2024 JJRZ002. VK Properties LLC by Todd Voss has made an application 2024 JJRZ002 to the Brookings County Planning Commission for property to be rezoned from Ag to Joint Jurisdiction R-3A Multiple Family and Mobile Home District to the Joint Jurisdiction B3 Business Heavy District. The property is described as the Outlot J in the northwest 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of Section 11, Township 109, North Range 50W, Madera Township, located at 3901 Main Avenue South, Brookings, South Dakota 57006. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich.
Second.
Second by Troyan.
And I'll entertain a motion on the city side.
Second, Jameson.
Okay.
Richard, would you read staff report?
Yes, 2024 JJRZ002, VK Properties LLC by Todd Voss has applied for rezoning of property in the Brookings City, Brookings County Joint Jurisdiction area from its current zoning of Joint Jurisdiction R3A, Multiple Family and Mobile Home District, to a Joint Jurisdiction B3 Heavy Business District. The proposed area was a former mobile home park and has been renovated with removal of the buildings and trees. The property is located at 3901 Main Avenue South and was platted on June 10th, 1968. The Brookings County Development Office has reviewed the rezoning request and has no objections to the request, providing it meets the requirements for the Brookings City Community Development Office. Brookings Community Development Planner, City Planner Ryan Miller report was included with this, and the rezoning request we heard at a joint meeting with the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission and the City of Brookings Planning and Zoning Commission, as the property is located in the joint jurisdictional area. The decision made by the Joint Planning Commission is a recommendation to the Brookings County Commission and to the Brookings City Council for a final decision of the rezoning request to be heard at a public hearing at a later date to be decided. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on June 18th and 25th, 2024, and the applicant was notified abutting landowners by certified mail of the rezoning request at least 14 days prior to the public hearing. Letters were sent to the Madera Township Chairman and Clerk and the Brookings County Highway Department. This is the applicant's rezoning petition. There's the beacon map showing the property in the yellow hashed area right here to be rezoned. This is just the current zoning map showing that joint jurisdiction R3A for that parcel. This is just looking on the north driveway, looking down towards the east, going down there. This is looking from this north driveway down South Main Avenue there. This is looking to the north, clear vision going either direction off the highway. This is looking midway down the north driveway, looking to the south on the area to the Outlot J. This is just some more pictures. This is looking from the south, looking to the north on the property. There at Outlot J here in the grassy area. This is the south road, which would be 40th Street South on the south end of the property, looking towards the east. And this is looking to the south from the 40th Street South to the south on Main Avenue, and this is looking north. I'm not sure if the applicant is here. If not, he was going to have a representative that would be here this evening if there was any questions for the board. That's all that I have. Ryan, do you have anything to add?
The Outlot J rezone area, it is located in an urban medium future land use category in the city's comprehensive plan. The urban medium, the change to the urban medium future land use classification was approved by the city council back in May. The area would be located between existing joint jurisdiction B3 zoning to the west and south. There is an existing set of residential dwellings just to the east, and there is some ag district zoning to the north. However, the B3 zoning would be consistent with the long stretch of B3 zoning along South Main Avenue from this area, kind of towards 20th Street. The development review team does recommend approval of the rezone based off of the future land use map and the adjacent zoning districts.
Seeing that, is there any questions from members of the county side at this time?
Anything from the city side? See none?
Seeing none, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I'll now close the public hearing portion, move back to the board for additional comments or questions. Anything on the county side?
Comments on the city side? None here.
Richard, would you call roll?
Yes, Bartley. Aye. Paulson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Starhog.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And Ryan, could we call the roll on the city side? Jamison?
Yes.
Limmer?
Yes.
Solem? Spear?
Yes.
Leddy?
Yes.
Aiken? Yes. Motion passes.
And I forgot Mr. Vanderwall.
Aye.
Okay, now motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on. Is there a motion to adjourn on the county side? So moved. Motion by Bartley, second.
Second.
Second by Dietrich, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned on the county side.
Can I get a motion to adjourn on the city side?
Second, Jameson.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned.
We'll have a short recess till we get reassigned here with the County Planning Commission, about 5 minutes or so. We'll let you know a couple minutes ahead of time before we're ready.
Anybody that voted in favor of that pipeline? We'll get going in just a couple minutes here with the county's planning and zoning meeting. Oh, I gotta change there. That's Kyle's, I think. Or is that Tim's? It might be Tim's. Yeah, he had the sunglasses on.
Anyhow, I don't know.
Good evening and welcome to the July 2nd, 2024 Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded, televised, and viewable on Swiftel Channel 19, ITC Channel 168, or the Brookings County YouTube channel. And I'll call this meeting to order. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich, second by Paulson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Items to be added to agenda by commission members or staff.
Just our normal staff report.
Invitation for citizens to schedule a time on a commission agenda for an item not listed. Seeing and hearing none. Disclosure of conflicts of interest, relationships to applicant or ex parte communication. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall. Second by Tryon. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We will now convene as the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission. The Brookings County Planning Commission is a 9-member commission whose function is to recommend approval or disapproval of land use plans, zoning ordinances, subdivision plans, and amendments thereof to the Brookings County Commission. The commission makes its recommendation based upon the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of the unincorporated areas of Brookings County. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in a positive. After a motion is moved and seconded, it is open for debate. Those supporting the motion shall in turn give their reasons. Those opposing the motion shall then offer their reasons. After everyone has been given a chance to be heard, the commission shall recommend approval or disapproval based on the testimony and information presented. A simple majority vote of a quorum of members of the Planning and Zoning Board in attendance is required to forward a recommendation. Agenda item 2024, Plat 007. Right. Plat of Lot 1, Jacobson Addition in the northwest 1/4 of the northwest 1/4 of Section 26, Township 110, North Range 51W of the 5th Primary Division, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich,
Second.
second by Paulson. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2024 Plat 001, it should be 7. Our Adventures LLC is platting off an existing farm building site from the rest of the 21-acre parcel. The existing building site will be 11.5 acres, and the plat meets the platting requirements of our 2016 comprehensive plan for the unincorporated rural area in the land use statement on page 24 for the agricultural land use. This is the plat, L-shaped right here, 11 acres, 464th Avenue on the west side. This blue hashed-in area is the area of the plat to be platted off the 21-acre parcel that's outside, highlighted in yellow around the outside there. And that's all that I have, and I don't believe the applicant is here this evening, so.
If the applicant's not here, is there any questions from the board if he was? No? Okay. Since the applicant's not here, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is anybody in the audience is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is anybody in the audience is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, we'll now close the public hearing portion. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
Paulson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Starhog,
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
Bartley,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 2024, Plat 008, plat of lots 1 through 10 in Block 1 and lots 1 through 9 in Block 2, all of homesteads at the Marsh Addition and government lots 2 and 3 in Section 15, Township 112, North Range 47W of the 5th Primary in Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Paulson. Second by Bartley. Richard, would you read staff report?
Yes. 2024 Plat 008, James and Jeannie Ness have submitted a plat for 18 non-lakefront lots and 1 non-lakefront, non-buildable lot. that will be used as a detention pond on the north side of Lake Hendricks on property that they own. The property is zoned Lake Park, and the preliminary plat was approved by this board on February 2nd, 2024. The detention pond was noted on Lot 9 in Block 1, but had no legal description. They have now identified the detention pond as being Lot 10, so it has its own legal and it's separate from the other lots. Lot 10 cannot be built on as it does not meet the size requirements for the Lake Park District. Nothing else has changed on the plat, and the plat meets the requirements of the Brookings County Subdivision Ordinance, Lake Park Zoning Ordinance, and the 2016 Comprehensive Plan for the unincorporated areas of the Lake Park on page 11. For development, lakes, and land use. This is a proposed plat. This is Lot 10 where the drainage detention pond will be located. There's Block 1 and Block 2. Roads going in and out. They all meet the 20,000 square foot or exceed the 20,000 square foot requirement. This is the proposed development with the lots on just the beacon map showing with how it would lay out on the land there. This is a beacon map showing the whole parcel on this southern part where the development will go. That's all that I have, and I don't believe that the applicant is not here this evening.
Thank you, Richard. If the applicant isn't here, we will move to the public hearing portion. Is anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I'll now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board?
Yeah, just curious if that access road, does that exit onto the gravel road, or does that, I don't remember if we had that coming out on the highway or on the gravel?
Yes, it'll come out to this road, little service road right here, and then onto the highway.
Okay.
Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Klein John.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Storhog.
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Jensen.
Yes.
Bartley.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 2024 pre-plat 006. Revised preliminary plat of blocks 1 through 7 in Berkland Edition located in a portion of the northeast 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of section 29, township 109 north, range 50W, and a portion of government lot 2 in the southwest 1/4 of section 28, township 109 north, range 50W, all in Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Jensen. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2024 pre-plat 006. Mark Berkland has submitted a preliminary plat for blocks 1 through 7 of Berkland Addition on the west side of Lake Campbell. The property is in the Lake Park zoning district. A preliminary plat is required for a final plat to get legal descriptions of the property. And the proposed blocks all meet or exceed the 20,000 square feet requirement for the Lake Park district. And all the proposed blocks adjoin the existing lots on Lake Campbell along Lake Shore Drive. The future landowners will need to make a preliminary plat for any further subdividing of the property. And Mr. Berkland has submitted a preliminary plat, 2024 pre-plat 004, which was approved on the April 4th, 2024 meeting of the zoning meeting. Since the approval of pre-plat 004, the shape of one lot was changed and one more lot was added, therefore making the requirement for a new preliminary plat to be submitted. Notice of the preliminary plat 2024 pre-plat 006 was published in the Brookings Register on June 18th and 25th, 2024. Wauga Tribune, the White Tri-City Star, and the Elkton Record on June 20th and 27th, all legal newspapers for the county. Here is the preliminary plat. This was the lot, I believe lot 1 right here was added, and then block 7 over here was the additional one. This is a complete parcel that it's coming out of. before it's subdivided. And this lot right here, they is vacating this portion of the landowner is buying, and they're gonna combine it with one of the new lots that he is proposing, Mr. Berkland, and so we have the existing lot will be increased in size to 20,000 square feet. And that's all that I have, and the applicant is here this evening if you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the applicant from the board at this time? Seeing no questions at this time, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion, move back to the board for additional comments or questions. Anything from the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Dietrich.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Storhog.
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Jensen.
Yes.
Bartley.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 2024, Plat 009, plat of blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Berkland Addition located in the portion of Government Lot 2 in the southwest 1/4 of Section 28, Township 109, North Range 50W of the 5th Primary Meridian, all in Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich,
Second.
second by Troyan. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yep, this is 2024, Plat 009. Mark Berkland has submitted a plat for blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Berkland Addition on the west side of Lake Campbell in the property zone Lake Park. That should be 7 on my there. The property was preliminary plat this evening that you just approved. If approved, it goes to the final plat, and all the blocks meet or exceed the 20,000 square foot requirement in the Lake Park District. And blocks 1 and 2 meet up with Lakeshore Drive. Blocks 3, 4, and 5 adjoin existing lots on Lakeshore, join existing lots that are on Lakeshore Drive. Calvin Christensen is purchasing Block 3, and this plat will vacate his existing lot, which is Lot 1 of Jornby's 3rd Edition, and combining it with the property to join Mr. Berkland's to form Block 3. The plat meets the requirements of the Brookings County Subdivision Ordinance, the Lake Park Zoning Ordinance, and the 2016 Comprehensive Plan for the Unincorporated Areas on page 11 for the developed lakes and the existing land use. These are the lots that he is planning now, 1 through 5, excuse me, I misspoke when I said earlier, 1 through 7. But right as of this time, he's only planning blocks 1 through 5. He's leaving lots 6 and 7 open at this time to be platted at a later date. And this is just the open beacon map area showing the large parcel that it's being platted out of. Here just a lot showing the Christensen property that will be vacated and added to the rest of it. That's all that I have, and the applicant is here this evening if you have any questions.
Are there any questions from the board at this time? Seeing none, I'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I'll now close the public hearing portion. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Storhog.
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Jensen.
Yes.
Bartley.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on to agenda item number 9, public hearing amendments to Article 5, General Requirements, Chapter 5.22, Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations, Section 5.22.05, Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation Control Requirements, start page 31. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Kleinjohn. Richard, would you read staff report?
Yes, zoning ordinance update to Article 5, general requirements, Chapter 5.22, concentrated animal feeding operations, Section 5.2205, concentrated animal feeding operation control requirements, number 9. We're adding Section E in there. The permit holder shall provide at all times maintain general liability insurance in the amount of at least $1 million with an environmental protection insurance rider of at least $100,000. Proof of such insurance must be received prior to the issuance of a permit and must be provided annually during the operation of such CAFO. The insurance carrier shall be required to provide Brookings County with notice of the insurance and with notice of cancellation or change in coverage. Failure to maintain such insurance shall be grounds of cancellation for the conditional use permit. This is a section that it will be added in, 5.22 right here. Get down to number 9, I believe it is. Standards for conditional use, right there's number 9, A, B, C, and then this is letter E that we're adding to the ordinance that inadvertently did not get in the new ordinance when we did that, so now we're putting it back in there. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Richard. We'll now open the public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, we'll now close the public hearing portion. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
Bartley,
Aye.
Paulson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We will now convene as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment is a 9-member board which has the power to hear requests for variances, conditional use, and appeals from non-material decisions of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of 2/3 of the full board membership of a board, 6 votes is necessary for approval of a variance or an appeal of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of a simple majority of those board members present and voting is necessary for approval of a conditional use permit. In accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, we require a motion to approve a request before the request can be debated. As a matter of policy, all motions are made in a positive. The board, under specific powers granted to it by the state, shall authorize variances from the zoning requirements where special conditions existing on the land will result in an unnecessary hardship for the applicant. Financial disadvantage to the property owner does not constitute proof of an unnecessary hardship. Moving on, agenda item 2024, variance 013, Veronica Radican has made an application 2024, variance 013 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a variance Article 4, District Requirements, Chapter 4.03, LP, Lake Park District, Section 4.03.03, Density Area and Yard Regulation, Minimum Lakefront. The property is described as Lot 4A and Block 1 of Lake Ponset Heights and Government Lot 3 and Lot A and G of Block 1 of Tawzers subdivision within Lake Ponset Heights in Government Lot 3 in Section 5, Township 112, North Range 52W, Laketon Township, located at 132 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota 57212. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Who had that? Dietrich, motion by Dietrich,
Second.
second by Paulson. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2024 variance 013, Veronica Radigan has applied for a lakefront variance to build a new lakeside residence to be 28.5 feet from the highest known water mark in Lake Ponset. a variance of 46 feet, 5 inches. The required setback is 75 feet from the highest known water mark. The proposed house will meet the side setbacks of 8 feet and the roadside setback of 25 feet. The proposed residence is 29 feet wide, north and south, and 46 in length, east and west. There is a 30-foot sanitary sewer easement running across the northern half of the lot. The site plan shows the new proposed house being built on the north side of the sanitary easement and 28.5 feet from the highest known water mark. The required 75-foot setback is in the middle of the sanitary easement. And the site plan shows a 30 by 45 accessory building to be built on the south side of the sanitary sewer easement. From the south side of the proposed accessory building to the south lot line along the road, there is 91 feet that is currently open space with a swing and play set on it. The existing house is in the floodplain, and the proposed location of the new house would be in the floodplain also. They have had a property surveyed for the elevations and have completed a floodplain development permit. The proposed new house would need to be built to the specifications in the flood, the flood damage prevention ordinance, as well as the Lake Park ordinance. The Lake Park ordinance requires the elevation of the lowest floor of the structure to include the basement to be 3 foot above the highest known water mark. The board will have to consider does it meet the requirements for a variance as stated in the zoning ordinance, section 6.0502. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on June 18th and 25th, 2024, and the Volga Tribune and Arlington Sun on June 20th and 27th, 2024. Letters were sent to the adjoined landowners and the Laketon Township Chairman and Clerk. Here's the variance application. This is the site plan showing the proposed, where the highest known water mark is, going back to the edge of the house, 28.5 feet. This is the sewer easement going across the property, 30 feet. This is a proposed garage, open air garage on the south side of the easement. This is the same site plan, just has elevations going along there. This is just a beacon map showing of the property. This is the floodplain area. The proposed existing house's portion is in the floodplain. And this is the proposed floodplain map that's coming to be determined yet. This is a preliminary one. The blue, this is the existing house. The blue area is the proposed area that's still in the floodplain, and the orange is what they call the 500-year floodplain. So as they slide back, the portion of the new house will still be in the floodplain if it is approved. This is just the beacon map showing the from the highest known water mark at the edge of the little retaining wall berm right there back, 75 feet. This would be the required setback area right here. This is just building plans for the home. Shows the foundation. This is the concrete patio towards the front of the house. This shows the floor plan of the proposed building. A roof line. This is what the elevations would look like towards the lake side. This is the side elevations. This is would be facing the south towards the road. Some pictures of the property. This is looking down the driveway from South Lake Drive. There, this is looking towards the south, or northwest, excuse me, towards the full lot of the property. This is looking east from the property line on the south here. This would be looking towards the west. This is looking down on the lakeside front. This would be the highest known water mark at the end of this retaining wall berm area. This is just looking to the east from that, along the shoreline. This is looking, and this one is also looking towards the west. This is looking east. This is just looking at it straight on from the dock that's there. This is the west property line going up to the south. This is the east property line going up along here till we get over to this post, and it goes back to the road. There's a little jog, 20-foot jog, I believe, in there. So this is just looking where the wheel is 28.5 feet from this highest known watermark right here. Just looking at the side property, this is where the edge of the house would come to in relationship to where the existing house is. And this would be where the wheel is right here, where the back of the proposed house would be, the south edge. And from that highest known watermark, this would be the 75-foot mark, which would be about right in the middle of that sanitary easement right there. And this is the south side of that sanitary easement, right by the jog and the fence here, the south side of their little shed. This is roughly would be the north side of their accessory building. This would be the south side of the accessory building coming looking towards the west, the south side there. This is looking west at the property line, and then this is just area of the open lot from the south edge of the proposed, where the wheel is, towards the south, towards the road right there. And that's all that I have, and the applicant, I believe, is here this evening.
Thank you, Richard. Is there any questions from members of the board at this time? With no questions from the board, I'll have you hang tight for a second, and we'll go to the public hearing portion. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? You want to say something, or you just want to raise your hand that you're for it? If you step forward and state your name into the mic. Clearly state your name and make sure the green light's on.
Yeah, I'm Dustin with Caliber Custom Homes, the builder.
And I'm Nick Radigan, so I'm Veronica's husband, spouse.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know if you guys had any questions, but I guess the thought was that we would place the new house a little bit further away from the lake as far as we could without jumping completely to the other side of that sanitary easement, because the lot gets a lot more narrow there, and also there's a substantial grade where it goes uphill to the road. It drops off pretty good. The road's quite a bit higher than the land there, so it kind of would cause a water issue as you bring the driveway off the road, and it would be a pretty tight fit up there. So if we build the new cabin on the lake side of the easement, and it'll be further away from the lake than the existing cabin, and higher, about 3 feet higher than the existing cabin, and then we do a new seawall, and we've made an application with the Game and Fish, or DNR, for that new seawall, and that will be more robust than the existing seawall, and taller too. So I don't know if that's in your design that you shared on the screen earlier or not, but yeah, I guess that was the thought process that went into this application.
Okay. Is there anybody, anything else? You good? All right, is there anybody else in the audience that is for this? Go back to the chair for a second, if you would, please. Anybody else in the audience for this? Seeing and hearing none, is anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I'll now close the public hearing portion. Move back to the board for additional comments or questions.
No, I'd say that answered the questions I had. I was just curious how close it was gonna be to the lake. If it was gonna be any closer, farther away, or built up. So, yeah, thank you.
I understand what they're trying to do, staying in the existing spot, but the way our ordinance reads, there's technically room on the back side of that easement for the house. And according to the way the ordinance reads, there's no hardship, is there? When there's room for it? Luke, do you have an opinion on this?
Well, there's two ways to look at it. Luke Muller, First District, Watertown, helping out here. There's two ways to look at this. The board has issued variances in the past. I'm trying to see, could someone just respond quickly? How far from the ordinary high water mark or the highest known water mark are they planning on being?
Right now, they've applied for 28 feet, 5 inches.
28 feet, and it's currently that at its closest point, isn't it?
Yes, it's closer than that right now.
It's a little closer than that. So you've approved some with that basis in the past, and as far as a hardship, the other hardship would be that sanitary sewer easement that's on their property that splits it up. It is unique to that area, so from that respect, there's that. There's the one other thing, and I don't want to make a huge deal of it, but if you crossing the county line in Hamlin County on Lake Ponset, they pay attention to on that survey. It shows the approximate ordinary high water line. That's the actual line that they'll measure from there. You don't in this county, and that is perfectly fine. So for the reasons for granting it, those are the things that I said. To your point, there is room to build a house somewhere else. So you're not taking away their ability to use it. You would be modifying it. So you've got grounds to say no. If you're going to say yes, the things that I just said are why I would do it. It would be that they're farther from the ordinary high water line, they're equal to or farther away, and they're trying to avoid this sanitary sewer line. I'm fairly confident that if they could, they would build in approximately the location where that sewer line is. So there's your pros, there's your cons. I think there's grounds both ways.
Thank you, Luke. Are there any additional comments or questions?
Just a comment to follow up on Luke's observations there. We're replacing an existing home that's been there. Now the floodplain was there. What regulations are going to be required for the new floodplain map and the construction on this particular property? This house has to be 3 feet above the water line, high
Yes.
water mark?
Yep.
And I assume that's in the plans? Okay. What other regulations did they have to meet as far as the floodplain and building construction?
They've got the floodplain development permit. They've got that on there. It'd have to be built to floodplain standards, which would be up what's stated in the ordinance on there. Flood-proofing materials on there. They're going to help with the retaining wall there, but the biggest thing is having to be 3 feet above that highest known water mark.
Okay, as long as they meet those requirements, I guess I don't really have a problem with replacing the structure with another structure. It's just, you got to meet all those requirements for floodplain, and if the permit allows that, I guess I don't have a problem with it. I do agree that the sewer easement, sanitary easement is obviously a detriment to the whole project as far as trying to move the house way back. You got one heck of a long front yard, but you don't enjoy the lake very much and it's that far back, so I don't have a problem approving this.
Are there any additional questions from members of the board?
Mr. Chair, if I might, one more time, sorry, this is Luke Muller again. I will make one note. I don't want to be too soft on it either. I do want to make the point. If there is a way to put a house on there with the garage as well on that back side, same size, and meet the setbacks, that would be grounds for voting no. I'll be perfectly honest. Personally, I have a house on the lake, and my house is farther back than where that easement would be, and we're able to enjoy it. So, just for what it's worth, that is an option.
Are there any additional questions or comments from members of the board? Seeing none, Richard, would you read the findings of facts?
Yes, Brookings County zoning variance 2024, variance 013, an application for a variance having been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as a Brookings County Board of Adjustment, a copy of the application being attached here too. Such application being made by Veronica Radigan regarding the following real property. Lot 4A in Block 1 of Lake Poncet Heights in Government Lot 3, and Lots A and G in Block 1 of Twazzers Subdivision in Lake Poncet Heights in Government Lot 3, in Section 5, Township 112 North, Range 52 West, Laketon Township, located at 132 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota. After due notice, a public hearing having been held on the application on the second day of July 2024. Number 1. The Brookings County Board of Adjustment hereby finding that the strict application of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would produce undue hardship, that such hardship is not shared generally by other properties in the same district and the same vicinity, that the authorization of such variance would not be substantial detrimental to adjacent property, and the character of the district will not be changed by the granting of the variance, and that granting of such variance is based upon reasons of demonstrable exceptional hardship as distinguished from the variations for the purpose of convenience, profit, and caprice. Number 2, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further findings that the condition or situation of the property concerned or the intended use of the property is not so general or reoccurring in nature as to make reasonable, practicable the formulation of a general regulation to be adopted as an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Number 3, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that this written application of the petitioner demonstrates that special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or buildings in the same district. That literal interpretation of the provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, and that granting of the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. Number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the reasons set forth in the application justify the granting of the variance, and that the variance is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structures. And then granting of the variance will be in harmony with general purpose and the intent of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. It will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. Number 5, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this variance upon the following special conditions or safeguards. Location of a 30-foot wide sanitary sewer easement across the southern portion of Lot 4A and the northern portion of Lot 4. Lot 4A in Block 1 of Lake Poncet Heights and Government Lot 3 in Section 5, Township 112 North, Range 48 West, was platted on June 17, 1958. Lot A and G of Plat 1 of Twazzers Subdivision within Lake Poncet Heights and Government Lot 3 in Section 5, Township 112 North, Range 52 West, was platted on February 21st, 1986. The Brookings County Board of Adjustment, by at least 2/3 vote of its full membership, hereby grants the above petitioner variance for the above described real property as follows. Build a new residence 28.5 foot from the highest known watermark on Lake Poncet, a variance of 46 feet 5 inches. The new residence must be built to the lake park and flood damage prevention ordinance standards. This variance is specifically conditioned upon initial and continued compliance with all the conditions and safeguards in 5 above and upon compliance with all applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. If approved, the Brookings County zoning director is authorized to issue any requirement building permits for construction consistent with the terms of this variance. If this variance is not used within 3 years of the date granted, it shall be invalid. Dated this second day of July, 2024.
Are there any additions or corrections to the findings of facts?
Mr. Chair, I find that this application meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance as long as the findings of the facts are followed, so I can concur with the findings of the facts.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Richard, would you read the vote?
Jensen.
Yes.
Bartley.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Storhog,
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 12, department reports.
Richard, I'll let Richard give it today.
We've got a copy of your variance request here we'll send to you, and then you can come and get your building permit in a future date. One second, I'll get this. All right, got a copy of the weed report from Misty for the gravel pits here. She shared in July. Most of them are doing a pretty good job, and if not, they're working on it. There's just all the different pits and their summary of what, if they're sprayed, if they have a few words or weeds and they have been sprayed, so this is just a summary of that. So for the most part, they're doing pretty good. She's making some phone calls to see them to get on some of those that need a little attention, but most of them are getting along pretty good. The zoning ordinance will now go to the county commission, and the public hearing for that will be on August 6th, I believe, as of right now, during the county commission meeting for the second reading of that ordinance edition. So as of that, I think that is all that I have at this time. Bob, anything else?
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Hearing none, is there any need for an executive session?
No, sir.
None? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
Creek,